Have you ever seen one of these kinds of old photos? Maybe it's a family gathering from when you were young, or maybe it's a picture of people you know living in memories in a time before you were born, or before you came to know them. Observing the life, the personality, the difference in how they look compared to now, the hairstyles, the clothes, the way that they possibly interacted before and after the exact moment that this picture was taken. You can almost imagine them moving there, recreate the life in the moments after the picture, but there is a sense of melancholy that you won't truly experience it, and that the picture shows a moment, like other pictures, that will never perfectly be replicated again. Yesterday o Utatte, or Sing Yesterday for Me, is a manga that began publishing cycle in 1997, and over the course of more than 15 years wrapped its story up in June of 2015. So much has changed in culture across this span, the technology, styles, and deeper, more complex things that I could maybe never truly grasp, but the fact that the story and characters remain stuck in this turn-of-the-era time period, before portable phones were commonplace in Japan, drives home not only the plight of the characters, but also connects with the nostalgia someone feels watching or reading it, even for those like me who can never truly piece together what we imagined this time was like. That's enough introduction though. Without spoiling anything major, I want to dig into the characters that really pull this series together, and hopefully get across the feelings that I personally have for the show, and why. The most noticeable character, from manga to anime, seems to be Haru Nonaka, and I think the creator would agree, considering she stars on every manga volume's cover. She's a younger, eccentric girl who seems to set her sails at random, but follows the wind until whatever she's set for greets her there. In many ways, she is the most proactive character in the story, consistently, constantly making an effort to meet up with the protagonist, Rico. As a high school dropout working at a cafe, she doesn't seem to have a lot of great future prospects going for her, but for some reason, her charm and confidence gives the feeling like everything is going to be okay, even if we constantly see her get shut down and denied. Almost like she's stuck in some sort of non-sinister rebellious phase, trying to convince herself and others that she's living carefree, without a worry in the world. Rico is the character we sit on the shoulder with for the series. He is a really unique and interesting character, generally seeming to have himself in a denial of crossroads, operating how he will keep his steps from moving forward any direction too fast. He eventually begins working harder to obtain and work at a better job to improve himself as an escape from his immediate relationship pressure, and maybe as a means to build confidence in himself so that he can actually take more direction and be more assertive when it comes to what he wants. But as it is, his personality seems to be very different depending on how he views people, which I think is realistic for the everyday person. While Haru makes it clear to him and everyone that she's romantically pursuing Rico, Rico can be quite dismissive, snarky, or sarcastic towards Haru, rarely showing warmth, possibly because he knows that any giving in to Haru would rapidly progress their relationship, and that isn't something he's confident that he wants. On the other side is Chinako, a woman who went to school with Rico and who he has loved for years. But beyond the rejection that kicks off the start of the series, it seems Rico is uncomfortable being more snarky or sarcastic with her, almost putting Chinako on some sort of pedestal. Their relationship, as I will get into in a moment, is unlikely to progress if he doesn't act more direct and assertive with her. In a way, Rico and Chinako are more similar than Rico and Haru, but Rico and Haru seem to share more chemistry because they can actually both, openly and willingly, act toward each other however they like, and however they truly are without caring about the reactions. It's a carefully built dynamic and based around their personality differences and subtle character flaws, rather than the more obvious and dramatic, typical romantic drama tropes. Which keeps me caring about the characters, even when sometimes I feel like I hate all of them, except Haru. Chinako moved away after going to school and graduating with Rico, but ended up coming back to be a high school teacher. Without going too deep into spoilers, this is because she struggles to get over someone she romantically idealized in the past, to the point where she sees that man in other men in her life, keeping her from being able to progress with them. She's probably the most fickle and slow-moving character in the series, even saying at one point to Rico that she wishes that he were more forward, and that she's unsure where they would be if he was. While she is the character that single-handedly frustrates me the most in this show, the overwhelming guilt and fear she has of hurting others with her decisions, as well as that ticking fear of time passing without her, can sometimes strike too close to home too, so I can somewhat sympathize. There is one more major reoccurring character, but I'll leave you to meet him as well, as the backstory is heavily intertwined with Chinako. Coming back to something that I just drew attention to, time. The passage of time is horrifying, as people have said. Time is unrelenting and cruel. Even if we want it to stop or slow down, time's arrow marches forward. Rico and Chinako especially are college graduates with few close friends and not exactly living the most ideal life. And this game that they've been playing, this reverse tango, this blind maze run, can't go on forever. After one awkward encounter, Chinako and Rico's friends individually lecture both of them, the obvious thing that the viewer is thinking. Rico's friend telling him, "What if that was your only chance?" And the thing is, so much of life seems to be these chance meetings, the cogs slowly arranging, clicking into place and moving, the piston deciding to propel, the constellations aligning. It only happens so often, and it's not guaranteed to ever happen again. I think that's what hurts the most about Sing Yesterday for me, is that while we are still stuck frustrated with these characters, so many of us are only feeling this way because of our own inaction. I feel like I've made huge strides in my personal life to be productive and work hard recently. Shamelessly plugging, but I stream on Twitch almost every single day for basically 4 hours a day, on top of replying to emails and trying to get this channel interesting content. But while otherwise I feel fulfilled and happy, sometimes I realize just how alone I am. Wake up, shower, work, eat, sleep, repeat. Barely seeing other friends or meeting people I have decent confidence in. It's so lonely, and it makes me wish that I was back in my high school and college days, hanging out with friends, meeting new people, exploring new places and things. It makes me wonder if all of my star-aligned moments have come to pass me by. If so many of those moments and people I didn't pursue are gone for good. If I've missed my chances. I went to the gas station the other night, since it's one of the few places open so late, and bought myself a snack and a drink. Since I'm back from college after the last few years, a girl from behind the register rung me up. It made me sad. Like 4 years have passed, and this is where she is. And at the moment, I haven't gone anywhere either, really. Or how my sister came up to visit me recently, even though she's younger than me, she's happily married. It makes me feel like time is going forward too fast, like the universe is leaving me behind, and I think that is the fear that a lot of people have. It's the fear that people don't like to think about. But for some reason, while Sing Yesterday for me always sparks that nostalgia, that fear inside of me, I keep watching week to week. But no, it isn't for some reason. I know exactly why. And if you relate to what I'm saying, this is why I would recommend the show. It's because watching these more interesting, dramatic back and forths creates hope in me. That while it seems like the progress is always stunted, there's a hope that that one rope will snap and they will all move forward into proper progression. Even then, someone will be left behind. Whether he gets together with Chinako or Haru, the loser will have to grow and move on, or be left in the forgotten void of the past. I watched Sing Yesterday for me because I want to sing tomorrow. That's an anime, I would say, aesthetically and thematically, that is chained to the past. But I watch in hopes that it breaks free, and that in turn myself and others can too. If you want to help me in that goal and see me try to improve here doing what I do, please consider donating to my Patreon, coming by my streams, or even just following my Twitter. Thank you all so much on the support of the last video, and as always, I will try to reply to as many comments as I can. Thanks to my biggest patrons, The Single Way Out, Kamui, Whizbang2093, Dolphinos, Frillneck Lizard, CJ, Sam Lloyd, Jose Ramirez, and finally, I hope to see you all soon.
I love hiding in public subscribe to